Hello, good afternoon, good morning, welcome, and thank you for joining me today. The Bloodlust is live. Yes, we will be hopping into Trackmania, week 49. That is right, 49, almost 50 weeks of the weekly shorts going on. We have been reviewing them for about 33 weeks. Actually, we're on 49, started on 16, so yeah, that put us at 33 weeks. We've been doing this for over half a year. It's actually kind of crazy. What up, Valerie? Thank you for being here. We're gonna hop into it here soon. Hopefully everything will be running smoothly. We have had some issues recently with our stream not running so smoothly, but I think I finally got everything figured out and fixed. We're gonna hope for the best. Hopping over here. There we go. We got Trackmania up on the screen. Hope you're having a wonderful afternoon, enjoying your animes. Valerie is a friend of mine. Be sure to check her out on Instagram. She's got a bunch of really cool pictures that she's been posting lately. I just made a watermark for her so that she can post her pictures online and doesn't have to worry about people stealing her content. Excited to see what kinds of stuff she's got posted. We're gonna hop into the weekly shorts. Of course, I decided to check out one of the tracks this week. Couldn't help but take a run on it. This one is kind of fun. The final turn is rough. It's a snow car map. We've talked about the alternate cars and stuff. Don't love them so much, but the snow car is probably one of my least favorites, so if that makes sense. Like I like it better than I hate it. Let's put it that way. Anyway, we're gonna hop into week 48, checking out the records. We got Pineapple Juice, track 236. I managed to make it up to number 6 on the Lost Dirt track. I actually had a really freaking good line on that one. I hated the Blythe track. That one sucked. Pineapple Juice, I mean, it was fun, but I guess I just didn't have the route figured out or something. I'm 1.2 seconds behind the record. There's a lot of improvements to make. So let's start out here. We're going to do a quick run on it, of course, as always, so you guys can see what it looks like. How it might look from the perspective of a noob like myself. So we're going to go this way. And you're not going fast enough to lose speed through that section. And you want to cut through those bushes there and try to go as straight across this section as you possibly can. You want to go up high here so that you can go low on the exit. Oh, too soon. You want to go a little bit later there. Boom, high here. Oh, too high. Once again, we're almost there. There we go. That's better. You get nice low exit on the half pipe or quarter pipe there. And you want to try to make it into the early finish, of course, but it's kind of hard to make such a tight turn on that last section with the grass, of course. We're going to try to go through this again. Somehow bumped the tree and didn't even lose speed. That's kind of crazy. I don't know what to think about that, but we're going to hold on to it. We're going this way. And we're in. Boom. Little improvement there. That's actually pretty exciting. That's probably one of the first times I've managed to actually improve my PB during a review. So, heck yeah, there's that. We're going to check out the records. We got It's Kreth, Vintage, ISD, Grenady. Oh, Grenady in the top 3. Shout out to the Wordy crew. Blavik and Captain Salmon. Captain Salmon. We're going to start out from Captain Salmon's perspective, of course, with Grenady there in the front. We got Captain Salmon, Blavik, and Grenady, all three going super tight to the right and cutting through, left through those bushes. That was a gap that I did not see. Going really wide there, super low exit onto the quarter pipe and early into the second finish. Just as I was saying, it's really hard to get that tight turn into that first finish, and you would actually lose a lot of speed. Nice straight lines here, a little bit of a speed slide there. Up the wall, slight speed slide, beautiful landing, almost didn't even come off of the wall, just enough to skip that lip there. Excellent moves. Great work by Captain Salmon there, Grenady, Blavik. We're gonna go from Blavik's perspective with Grenady because they're almost perfectly even. They're nose to nose here, going through this first section, straight across there. Grenady loses a little bit onto the magnet block. Blavik catches up ahead, but Grenady gets a smoother landing there, and a tighter turn into the finish. Slightly ahead for a nice, smooth run there. Speaking of smooth, looks like the stream is running excellently today. I'm actually happy to see that. So we're gonna go from Grenady's perspective with Vintage ISD here. Grenady going a little bit tighter to the right. Vintage taking kind of a wide turn there. Interesting. Going straight through that section. Grenady slightly ahead, but Vintage getting an interesting line onto that magnet block. High and across there and early into the finish. Barely missing the upright for a 0.1 improvement. That's actually a huge gap. When you look at Blavik and Grenady, they are only 0.02 apart from each other. But Vintage ISD managed to cut ahead by a 1/10. Holy crap. Absolutely wonderful work by Vintage ISD there. Just keeping a straight line all the way through the whole run. Vintage here going super smooth. Straight line there to the right. Straight across that section. Beautiful speed slide across that grass section. Little bit of a turn there. Nice low landing. It's Kreth pulling ahead just in the finish and sniping the world record by 0.04 of a second. Vintage ISD actually ahead the whole time, but Kreth just got a slightly better turn up the wall ride there. Slightly smoother landing and just as tight and close as you can get into the finish there. Beautiful work by It's Kreth. Once again, ahead by 0.04. Just to think that the first and second place only have 0.04 between them, and the third and fourth place only have 0.02 between them, but third and second place have a whole 1/10. That is actually kind of crazy. That is a huge improvement. That's like 2 full car lengths improvement. It's Kreth just getting a slightly straighter line into the finish there. Let's go from It's Kreth's perspective with Vintage behind him. It's Kreth, super tight, almost touching that wall, straight across that section. Beautiful onto the booster there. Catching a nice straight line across the magnet. Super low, smooth landing there. Keeping all of his speed into the finish line for the record. Excellent work, absolutely excellent work by It's Kreth, Vintage ISD, Grenady, Blavik, and Captain Salmon. What up, Justin? I saw that you were over on Roblox. How's that going, man? Got some custom games that you're playing. You know, I've never really gotten into Roblox, but I know that it's like one of those games within a game kind of thing. Like, it's a sandbox world that people build their own games within. So there's a lot of stuff to do, but I just never got into it. Once again, excellent work to the top 5 there. That was Pineapple Juice. Week 48, track 236. We're gonna move on to the next one here. It's playing with a friend. Nice, nice. Are you trying to build your own campaign or something? That would be actually like, for me, that would be the one reason I'd play Roblox, is actually to like build my own game. So we got Blythe here. This track sucks. I do not like this track. So there's pillars in every corner. You got to get nice tight turns here, and you got to get good drifts through each one of the U-turn sections. So there's 2 U-turn sections. This is the first one. Gives you that grass there for a little bit of an extra slide so you can line yourself up. So you want to go real tight there. Had to release for that, but that's okay. And then you got to go drift there, and then you want to keep your speed through that section. You got to go straight across that grass, which is really difficult because it's literally like a split second where you release the steering just so you can go straight across that grass. This track is a tough one. It took me many runs before I finally got a strong finish on this. It is not a fun track in my opinion, just because of the obstacles. They really are like egregiously placed in my opinion. And I get that it's a skill track. It's a skill tech. I am cool with skill-based maps. It's just this one's not for me. For one, I'm not good at tech, and for two, this, like, the obstacles and stuff just make it such a headache for someone like me to deal with. Like I said, I am actually kind of a noob in this game, so this is a rough one to deal with, but we're gonna try to get just one complete run here before we review the record so you guys can see what a solid run looks like. Keep hitting that corner, trying to drift too early, and I'm not even drifting because I release, so I'm not going fast enough. Hit the wall, but that's okay. We're not worried about it. We just want to get through it. And then you go across to this section, once again hit the wall, and there's two finishes here. That one I would say is the fastest, but this finish over here has a slightly, yes, there is drifting, but it's not like e-brake drifting like on Forza or Need for Speed or anything like that. You actually have to be going a certain speed. You have to be going over a certain speed, and then you have to have your car turned at a specific angle before you tap the brake button. And when you tap the brake, it just automatically slides. But like I said, you have to be, that would probably be the faster finish. I didn't even see that finish. Okay, so that's the faster finish. That's part of the reason why I didn't get such a good score on this, because I didn't use the right finish. I just took the first one that I came to. But if we did this right, dang, yeah, that's a tough one. So you gotta actually drift into the finish. But anyway, yeah, drifting is very technical in this game. Like I said, you have to be going a certain amount of speed, and then you have to have your car already turned to a certain angle before you hit the brake, and it'll just automatically drift. There we go, another improvement, 0.3, huge improvement actually. That probably would have put me in the top 100, but since of course this was, the leaderboards are now closed, that's not going to count unfortunately, but at least we finally got to see a good run on that. Let's go ahead and check out the records here. We got Tom 29, Exosum, we've seen Exosum a few times, Tromi TM, Travolsa, and Carl Jr. Carl Jr. again, holy cow, Carl Jr. is making a comeback. He's getting all kinds of records on the leaderboards lately. He's been first in a couple of the weeklies. So we're starting out here with Tom, Exosum, and Tromi. Exosum slightly ahead here. Tromi getting a good turn there. Tom keeping just a good solid line all the way through, and they get low entry into that finish. It almost looks like they all finished at like exactly the same time, but there is actually 3 thousandths between Tom and Exosum, which is hard to see here. If we get rid of Tromi, looks like Tom and Exosum hit the finish at almost exactly the same time. So that is really hard to gauge by eye, but Tromi and Exosum here, we can see my PB. I'm way behind them. They're nice and tight there. Beautiful turn. Tromi's a little behind, but manages to keep more speed through that turn, it looks like, and gets into the finish just a pixel sooner for a 100th improvement, which again, they seem like they are so much closer together. 100th doesn't even quite seem possible. Nice straight line for Exosum. Tromi, though, going for kind of like a wiggle drift into the finish there, using that grass patch to get a tighter line into the finish. You can see here, Tromi, or Exosum, does actually slide a little bit on that grass there. So we're gonna go from Tromi and Travolsa. Tromi behind here, Travolsa and Tromi even at the start, going through the booster. Nice, beautiful drift, tight there. Travolsa, a much smoother drift through that U-turn section, going across the grass, keeping all of their speed almost. And into the finish, so close. Oh my gosh, 3 thousandths. They literally were ahead by like the rim of their tire. Once again, get a nice close look here. We can see they're real close to each other. Travolsa keeping a little bit more speed and a slightly better line through that last turn and getting into the finish literally by the rim of his tire. Excellent run, excellent run. This is just like, these are close races this week. There's not really any shortcuts, no crazy exploits. It's all just in your personal skill. Carl doing a kind of a different line there, keeping more speed into the finish. So we're gonna go actually from Carl Jr.'s perspective here instead of Travolsa. We're gonna go with Travolsa behind, Carl Jr. ahead. Carl Jr., nice straight line into the booster there, beautiful tight line through the U-turn, and then right here he gets a tighter, he does a tighter angle with his drift into the second to last checkpoint there, which gives him a straighter line into the next turn, which allows him to carry more speed through the whole section. Just barely ahead of Travolsa though, and makes it into the finish. Once again, 4 thousandths. They're between 5th place and 1st place, there is only 200ths of a difference. They are so close. Let's put them all together. Oh my gosh, at the finish line there, it looks like they're almost one car. Yo, thanks Justin, I appreciate you, man. Really tight through that last turn. Carl's way behind in that last turn, but manages to carry more speed and gets into the finish just slightly ahead of everybody else. Absolutely beautiful run there by Carl Jr., Travolsa, Tromi TM, Exosum, and Tom29. Absolutely just mind-blowing runs by everybody. The margins that everyone's working with on this track is crazy to me. The lines that they're using, the angles that they're like, I can't, my brain is not strong enough for that. I get scared. Even if I'm confident in my skills on something, like moving at this kind of speed is just scary to me. Oh, much more speed through there, but I released a lot. Still managed to make it into the finish line sooner though. Nice little improvement. That was Blythe, week 48, track 237. That was the tech track. Well done once again to Carl Jr. and everyone else in the top 5 there. Carl Jr., a legend for sure, coming back. Now this is Lost Dirt. This one I had a lot of fun with. This is the Pathfinder track, of course. Pathfinder means that there are multiple routes that you can take and there's several different finishes. And one thing about Pathfinders is typically you will have a mixed path for the finish line. So what I mean by that is since there are multiple paths, we're gonna go ahead and actually view it from the sky here. You'll see that there are multiple different lines. You can see every one of those blue lines is a checkpoint, but there's 2 checkpoints on this track technically. That's the first checkpoint, first, and then here's second checkpoint, and then second checkpoint up here. So what you want to do is you look at this route here and you find, first off, the very first thing that you're looking for is where's the closest finish. So if we're looking from the start here, I would say the closest finish just visually is going to be that one. But then we go and look at it and what's our route. So we got checkpoint there, and then we got to go all the way around that and hit that second checkpoint into that finish line. So that's actually a really long route. We don't want to go through there. If we could go through the forest, we might actually be able to save some time, but the grass would slow us down a lot, so it might not be worth it. If we look, that one's super far away. Those ones are off in the distance, so we're gonna check this one over here. We got a finish line right up on this hill, and if you look, we got these two paths that overlap each other, and conveniently, the first checkpoint's right there, and the second checkpoint on this path happens to be right there. And that is almost a straight line from the start to the finish. So that's gonna be our best route on this track. So you wanna start out real nice and smooth. You wanna go no slide through the dirt as much as you can, and then we're gonna make a tight turn here, jump over that side there, nice smooth landing onto the pavement as smooth as we can. You want to try to jump over all of that grass as possible. Now this may not be the record run, but I did get myself 6th in Oregon with this path, and it is rather fast. I would say probably between me and the actual record there couldn't be more than possibly like half a second, and I'm serious about that. Like, the amount of improvement that could be made here is infinitesimal. So then, yeah, you want to go nice and tight through that turn and try to make it in the finish as soon as possible. That's going to be our best route. Again, the closest checkpoint perspectively would actually be this one over here. But in order to get over there, we would have to drive through all of that, and it would be such a headache, and there's no checkpoints. So we can't actually go that direction, but let's go ahead and view the records, see where they go. Oh my gosh, they are 1.2 seconds ahead of me. And I am almost in the top 1,000 in the world on this track. That's crazy. Top 1,200, 1228, and they are 1.2 seconds ahead of me. That's actually kind of mind-blowing and dream-crushing a little bit. So we're gonna check out what's going on here. We're gonna start from Creamy Flakes. We got Creamy Flakes, Sobs, and Coons. Oh my God, they're all going to the right. No. They go to the right, hit this tech path, and skip track, oh my God, to the second checkpoint there. What is that? What kind of, no. There is no way that they all just found that. I hate this so much, dude. This is the one thing. This is seriously the one thing about the weekly shorts that frustrates the absolute ever-living fuck out of me, is that you'll have a path like this. There is no way more than one person theory craft that and put it together in their mind and actually pulled it off. They literally did that run, and then they have like a Discord somewhere where they're sharing it with each other, and only like people in the top like 50 or whatever are sharing these routes and getting these finishes. There is no way that everybody just figured that out on their own. I mean, that is a crazy path. I'm not gonna lie. That is a crazy route. They're 1.2 seconds ahead of me, which is, oh, they go, that's why, because you catch air there. I was like, why did they like dip off to the left there? Interesting. So, wow. We go to the right here. They dip off to the left to keep contact on the road. I sucked at it, but we're gonna keep going anyway. And then they jump off there. They hit the hill a little bit so they can keep a straighter path, and then you need all of your speed to make that jump. This is a very precise route. I will give them that. Anybody that pulled it off, like, pulling it off, of course, yeah, it takes your skill. That is all your skill. No matter how you look at it, you have to accomplish it. Like, even if somebody else showed you how to do it, you still have to freaking finish the run yourself. But I find this very hard to believe that more than one person found that on their own. Let's go back to the records here. We're gonna go from Kuntz, Vintage, ISD, once again in the top 5 there. We got Kuntz and Vintage ISD both going to the right, cutting that lip there to keep contact with the dirt, going across the tech, jumping low, getting the downhill on the grass. Kuntz actually getting a huge slowdown there. Oh my God, Vintage actually getting the full barrel roll and landing back on his tires. Managing to get himself in there 200ths ahead of Kuntz. Kuntz still had a lot of speed going into it, but oh my gosh, Vintage got the full barrel roll and managed to make it all the way into the finish on their tires. That is the dream run right there. They were slightly off to the left, which did lose them just a tiny bit of speed there into the finish. If they had landed slightly straighter, I'm going to assume that is probably how ZK Russ got their run. So we're gonna go ZK Russ and Vintage ISD, cutting that corner, keeping contact with the ground, going tight into the tech, barely missing that rock, down the hill, gaining speed off of that little bit of a downhill, bumping off of that tree branch, and oh my God, Vintage ISD is the only person that got the full barrel roll. ZK Russ just barely managing to get in there ahead because he landed cleaner on his front tires and didn't slide on his roof so much. Holy cow. Yeah, they do make it look easy. It's crazy sometimes watching these, and you'll see the just insane things that these guys pull off. And no, like, it's like, man, that looks like it's totally doable, you know? And then you try to do it yourself, and it's like, freaking you end up landing like 30 feet short every time. It's like, how do they even have speed for that? It's like not even possible. Like, see right there already, he's a full car length ahead of me, and we haven't even freaking made it onto the tech yet. Like, this is not even the first turn, and he's a full car length ahead of me. There is just a ton of technique and finesse that goes into these runs. Like I said, it's lame that they are sharing their runs with each other because there's literally no way that more than one person found that path. I'm serious. There is absolutely no way. There have been so many paths in so many weeks where I've done these reviews where it's obvious that it was like one guy found this path. I almost got the jump up to the branch, but I don't even know, even if I did make it up to the branch, if I would have had enough speed to make it over that next wall. That finish is just insane, mind-blowing. So as I said though, here you are seeing a mixture of two routes. Of course, the second path they take is actually this route, and you can see he's so far ahead there. And the first route is actually supposed to typically go across that bridge. So because of the way that some Pathfinders are built, they're open and the routes overlap each other. It gives you the ability to jump from one route to another, thus creating a shorter line to the finish. But that is just a mind-blowing route. Once again, good job to ZK Russ, Vintage ISD, Kuntz, Sobs, and Creamy Flakes. May be a disappointing run to see just because I know that people don't just see don't just find these things. Somebody gave them that information, but they still had to pull it off, and that is impressive in itself. So great job to everybody there on Lost Dirt. Once again, ZK Rust, Vintage ISD, and the lot. We're gonna move on to track number 4 of week 48. Neoteric. This one I did have a lot of fun on. I didn't get a ton of runs on it, but this is a full speed transitional track. It's a smooth transitional. Sometimes a transitional is one that goes from one platform to another. Typically a transitional track has gaps between each transition, but a transitional track can still be a track with multiple different platform types that you're on. So this is a transitional track between tech and plastic. So you want to get a nice straight line up there if you can. You of course want to try to get up earlier, conserve your speed, spend less time on the hill. Nice straight smooth line through there, And you want to full speed that, but you got to have a good angle. I kind of messed it up because I bounced off of the wall there. So we go up this wall ride, nice and smooth, keeping all of our speed. Once again, bouncing on the ground because I hit that gap. So it's a very precise map. Don't want to have that airtime if I can help it. Okay, there we go. Nice and low. We did catch a little bit of airtime, but not enough to really make a huge difference. Try to keep full speed there, straight as possible here. And the best thing to actually do into the finish is to speed slide that whole section. You got to break into the right angle, and it's a really slight angle. So you'll see when you're drifting, anybody that plays the game regularly probably knows this, but when you're drifting, you can see how there's the skid marks there. In order to get a speed slide, you want those skid marks to be overlapping by like 90%. And that will allow you to both gain speed and reduce your friction at the same time. And that allows you to accelerate faster than if you were just to keep your tires fully in contact with the ground. So this is Neoteric. We're gonna go ahead and check out the records. We got Hobbit, John, Hi J Bird, Rowan, Gutan, and STHR. Some of these names we are pretty familiar with. We got Hobbit, John, and Hi J Bird. Hobbit and Hi J Bird are names that we recognize in the weeklies. They are pretty regular here. So we're gonna go from Hobbit's perspective. He goes a little bit wider there to the left and sooner up onto the platform, straight across that plastic. Beautiful speed slide, wiggle across the plastic to reduce his friction. Once again, gains a little bit of speed and jumps into the finish at an angle to get his front tire in ahead of the rest of the body. Beautiful run there. You see straight across the plastic, picking up a speed slide, getting a little bit of a wiggle across the plastic, and barely making it in behind everybody else, just because John managed to go slightly tighter and Hi J Bird was just faster through the whole run. Hi J Bird with a perfect speed slide there. Beautiful, perfect angle into that last checkpoint, and just about as direct into the finish as you can get there. So we're gonna go from Hi J Bird's perspective with Rowan Gutan. So we got Hi J Bird, Rowan's a little bit to the left. They both go up early onto the platform. Hi J Bird's a little bit earlier and higher onto that platform, gaining more speed on the out, but Rowan getting a straighter line across, taking less of that hill and staying tighter to the left and getting into the finish 2 thousandths ahead of Hi J Bird. If he had a slightly tighter turn into the finish line there, he might have actually beaten him by like more like 100th, maybe even close to a 10th. He's so far ahead right there, but he had just such a wide jump into the finish. We're gonna go from SCHR. SCHR is 400ths ahead right now. We're gonna go from Rowan's perspective. SCHR earlier up onto the hill, keeping full contact, low entry there, high exit, straight across, beautiful, perfect speed slide, no wiggle across the plastic, and super tight into the finish. And that is how you get that win. Of course, as I said, if Rowan had gone a little bit tighter into the finish, he might have even come close to beating SCHR there, but SCHR just pulls ahead from the start and keeps it all the way through. Goes a little wide, get a tighter line straight into the finish there. SCHR with an absolutely phenomenal run. Perfect through that wall ride. Perfect speed slide across this section. Perfectly straight across the plastic. Little wide there, and just as soon as you can get into the finish. Absolutely beautiful. Well done by SCHR. Rowan Gutan, Hi J Bird, John, and Hobbit. What's up, Natalie? Thanks for popping in. We are just about to be done with the reviews. Oh man, no worries, no worries. What you playing today? We're gonna do one run on this just because I want to try, and immediately I'm behind. And again, so far behind. At this point, there's no catching up. He is so far ahead of me. He just rockets out ahead immediately, almost keeping up with him there. Nope. I hit that plastic at an angle, gotta slow down. So we go early there, straight through the plastic, let it push itself. He gets a speed slide. I did not get the speed slide, and you could see him just rocket ahead of me in that section. Oh my God. Crazy. Excellent work to everybody there. SCHR absolutely blowing everybody out of the water. 17.7 for the world record on week 48, track 4, Neoteric. That was a fun one. Again, I'm not a huge tech guy, but it's always fun when they have kind of a unique sort of style to it. And I do like when, you know, they have kind of a decorative path. It's not just generic parts here and there. This is a fun track, interesting track, but fun. So, oops. There are several things to mention here. First off, snow car. Snow car is hard to, oh my God, first try? I made it through that gap on the first try. I can't believe this right now. That's crazy. So, I can't believe I spent almost an hour last week trying to make that gap, and I landed it like 4 or 5 times, and I just blast through it first try, no problem, like it was nothing. However, I didn't hit the booster on the other side. So the real goal here is that you want to go as smooth as you can through each turn to conserve as much speed as possible, and you want to hit every single one of these boosters that you can. Every booster, of course, gives you a little bit of extra speed, so you want to use that as much as you can. Wall ride across that plastic, and the really difficult angle there is that jump. That is the run killer. That jump right there. Because of that stupid freaking tree, you got to go slightly to the left. There's the tree in the middle and the tree on... Oh, it literally will not let me change my camera perspective on this track. So anyway, there's both of those trees. You got to just barely get past them so that you can go over into the next section. And you want to go slightly to the left so that you can hit that booster, as I was saying. And if you go with just the right amount of speed, you can actually get yourself... Whoops. Yeah, the trees in the way are a huge pain. Damn it. There we go. Anyway, yeah. You go just ever so slightly to the left, and you want to make it over that bush right there. And I only managed to make it over that bush like twice after an hour of attempts. I'm not even kidding. And so anyway, you go over that bush, and if you manage to do it right, you hit that booster on the other side, gives you enough speed to carry through into the finish. And you want to go as smooth as absolutely possible. They call this track the Temple Run. It is very, the aesthetic, I like how it's, you know, with the fixed camera, and it does have kind of the Temple Run aesthetic. It's fun. I enjoy it. It's definitely a skill-based challenge map, which is kind of a niche in a way. There's a lot of challenge tracks that are kind of RNG or just fun, and then there's a lot of challenge tracks that are like high skill, but there's not ones that are like fun skill maps, if that makes sense. So we're gonna go ahead and check out the records. We got Carl Jr. number 5. Surprised to see he's at number 5. We got Knock 3LZ, Lord Schrompson, Creamy Flakes, and Kunz. We're gonna Carl Jr., Conk, or Knock, and Lord Schrompson. All perfectly even at the start, and they take a super wide turn there, skipping the wall ride, jumping over the tree, super tight turn there, and straight into that was actually kind of wide. So they go early into that and super tight there, skipping the wall ride, straight across into that booster. Again, skipping the wall ride, hitting that booster early, and straight into the finish through the right side. It's almost impossible to see Looks like Lord Schrompson is much far ahead in that first turn there. Just did it a little bit tighter. Looked like Carl Jr. got a slight slide in that last turn. Let's actually, Carl Jr. here, taking that booster, going straight across, hitting the third booster there, as close to that wall as you can get, basically. Hitting that second to last booster and straight into the finish. Beautiful line, holy. I kind of had the right idea, but not entirely. Well done to everybody there in the bottom three, Carl, Knock, and Lord. We're gonna go from Lord Schrompson's perspective here with Creamy Flakes ahead of him. Lord Schrompson, Creamy Flakes just barely hitting that booster, hitting the second booster there, taking a super tight turn into the third booster, fourth booster across. Creamy setting up a little wide and hitting the last booster just before the finish to get ever so slightly sooner, ever so slightly ahead of Lord Schrompson. He was actually behind the entire way until right at the finish there, he hits that last booster. And it gave him just enough to get in ahead by 15 thousandths rather. Incredible. Map 4 has Desert Car, but it's really fun. Okay. I'll have to keep that in mind. So we're gonna go Creamy Flakes and Coons, barely hitting the booster there again. Actually, let's start that out again. That was a little interesting. Coons went wide. Straight through that section. Oh, I see. Coons actually had a straighter line. Going straight through each booster, right over the root there, into the second to last booster, and hitting the final booster. And getting into the finish with a nice smooth line. A little bit of a wiggle, but just barely ahead of Creamy Flakes there. Creamy Flakes and Coons, the only ones that decided to hit that last booster, which, I mean, there's no reason not to, right? Like, yeah, there's just really no reason not to. I can see why Carl Jr. and the others didn't, because the wiggle, you would think, like veteran knowledge would tell you that deviating is going to slow you down, of course. Oh wow, actually made by an Xbox player. That's kind of crazy. That might be the first weekly short that was ever featured by an Xbox player. But yeah. So you would think, again, veteran knowledge would tell you the wiggle would slow you down, but if you make a smooth enough line there and hit that booster, just because of the physics of the snow car, you don't lose as much speed. If it was any other vehicle, except for maybe the rally car could have done it. But if it was the other two, the stadium or the desert car, you definitely would have lost a ton of speed there. But the snow car is very forgiving on its speed, very forgiving with collisions. It's honestly one of the most like beginner friendly vehicles, I would say. It does require a lot of precision, so it does make it more challenging for beginners, but it's also easier to get used to than like the desert car. Desert car is rough. Well done to Carl Jr., Knock, 3LZ, Lord Schrompson, Creamy Flakes, and Coons. Everybody there in the top 5 of the world. That was actually incredible run by Creamy Flakes and Coons, specifically hitting that final booster, just getting that little bit of extra tiny speed. I mean, it seems so obvious, but at the same time, like, it's just like it's such a debate. Like, there would be a debate there. Like, again, your veteran knowledge would tell you that that slight deviation would actually slow you down more than just taking the straight line into the finish. So, like, that's a gamble that some people wouldn't want to take. And it seems obvious to me that Carl Jr., Lord Schrompson, and Knock are more veteran players, and Coons and Creamy Flakes are probably newer players. Here, hell yeah. I forgot to change my notification anyway, so that's probably a good thing. You would have been like, oh, but I thought you were playing Battlefield today. No, bro, it's Tuesday. You know that. Anyway, well done to everybody there. That was excellent. Temple Run, that was track 5 of week 48. Managed to get myself top 20 in Oregon. Probably could have done a little bit better if I had spent some more time on it. Bought a new controller, you bastard. Is it for me? I need a new controller. Bro, look at this shit. Look at this. Look at that. And it's freaking like it's all coming loose right here, and like if you look, like it's freaking, the plastic's all freaking busted. Like you can lift the rubber up there and you can see straight into the controller. It literally has flaked off into like a bazillion pieces. The rubber's all coming loose. The bumpers don't work. That's supposed to change. So we go. I have my bumpers set to the freaking paddles on the bottom because otherwise, like, it just doesn't work. Can send me your old one. Oh yeah, great. I wonder why you got a new one. Yours is so old. Yeah, actually, the most messed up part about this is that this controller is literally a year old, just over a year old, and I've dropped it like a handful of times, like a foot, not like. I've probably done more damage to it, like crunching it with my hand, than I have dropping it over the last year or so. Elite Series 2. Oh, so they could, okay, yeah, the Series 2, I see. The Series 2, so we fixed some of the problems, but you still don't get the warranty, right? Fucking bastards. It looks older than, oh my, you don't get to talk. Natalie over here looks older than me. Freaking anything looks older than you. I'm just kidding. GameStop's 1-year protection plan. So, okay, so that's the thing. The protection plan doesn't actually replace the controller. The protection plan will replace the parts. So like if you lose the extra freaking thumbsticks, or like any of the freaking extra doodads and stuff that you have in your little case with, you know, all the extra buttons and all the cool stuff that you get in there, you know, all the extra attachments and whatnot, if you lose these, then you can get them replaced, but they have to be replaced by like with refurbished parts. I don't think they give you new parts. They'll give you refurbished ones. Looks almost new. Yeah, I have, is it here? No, I think it's outside. I have a Halo 4 collector's edition, or is it Halo 5? It's Halo 4 or Halo 5? The 4 or 5. Collector's edition controller that I got with an Xbox that I rented from GameStop several years ago, and I swapped out one of my old controllers for the collector's edition because they are worth the same price, and it wasn't labeled on the receipt whether it was a collector's edition or just a regular controller. It just said Xbox One controller. And that was, they released that controller, I think, with the Xbox, like it was a launch release, and that one's still in like pristine condition. It, like, one of the bumpers is a little loose, but otherwise it's in like perfect condition. I just don't even use it. I don't know what year it's from, but I know it was for the original Xbox One, not the Series X, but the old Xbox One last gen. Bro already played Matt. I couldn't help it. I had to try one, man. I got bored. Here we go. Valleyway map 1 of week 49. This will be the first time I'm trying this, so this is a fresh run. You're from 2014. That's hilarious. Circa 2014. M. Boberg. Okay. I wasn't gonna do it, but give me a second. I will be right back. I'm gonna go get it. 13 years old. 13 years, you're using a 13-year-old controller on your PS5 right now? I guess. I mean, yeah, I could use a 360 controller. So I suppose that makes sense. Another purple snow map. Oh. Map 2, yeah. Justin's controller is older than you. That's so funny. Yeah, you know, I mean, it's really not that old when you think about it. Like, I still have Nintendo 64 controllers from when we first purchased my Nintendo 64 from Toys R Us when I was like 9 years old, freaking 23 or 24 years ago. Yeah, I'm that fucking old. I'll be back in a few minutes. It says it was made in 1697. No, I'm just kidding. It's a model 1697. Made in China, Redmond, Washington. That's so funny. It says made in China, but it's got the address for the Microsoft Corporation in Redmond, Washington. Hello from Seattle. Don't you mean hello from Bangkok? Or wait, no, that's Thailand. Hong Kong? Yeah. But yeah, no, it's a Halo 5, I believe, edition. Yeah, I literally rented an Xbox, and it came with this controller as part of the rental, and I decided to keep it. They still got a controller, so it's, you know, it's fine. But I don't know what year it's from. It doesn't actually have a date on it. I was kind of expecting it to, but I mean, whatever year Halo 5 came out, because it's the collector's edition, you had to freaking pre-order it. That was the only way to get it. I got hilariously lucky. You lost a tooth today? Oh man. Bro, I don't have enough money for you. You save it and put it under your pillow. I'll let you know when to put it under your pillow. Okay, okay, this track is gonna be fun. Okay, so we go try to avoid the air time. Whoa, okay, wow. Interesting. Tracks like this always trip me out. Uh-oh. 19, your dad. You have a quarter. Yeah, kids these days get like $1, man. Freaking spoiled. Inflation, bro. Like, how does the Tooth Fairy keep up with that shit? Freaking imagine, like, the Tooth Fairy only gets so much for each one of those teeth, but kids want more and more under their pillow each year. How do they keep up? Toothflation. For real. You get 2 monies? Oh my god. Bro, spoiled. Holy cow. You must have freaking, you must have like the West Hills Tooth Fairy or something. 2 monies for 1 tooth? It's only 1 tooth. Why do you get 2 monies if it's 1 tooth? They'd rather go to a cookout for ice cream? That's funny. Human teeth for 300 monies on the black market? That's funny. Ah, shit. This track is tough. Guess your Tooth Fairy was broke? Yeah, alright. Yeah, unfortunately my Tooth Fairy got paid by the hour, so, they didn't have quite as much to pay for the teeth. Oh man, that is a tough one. That turn is hard. Damn. Paid by the hour is insane. The Tooth Fairy out there working 9 to 5. For real though, bro. What do you think, they just freaking magically have money? They gotta do something. Otherwise, how are they gonna pay you for all of your tooths? They gotta pay you $2 per tooth, bro. Yeah, this map is interesting. I kind of like it. The style is definitely one that I appreciate, but the end is a little awkward. Could definitely improve. The Tooth Fairy needs some energy drinks. Red Bull gives you wings, bro. How do you think they're the Tooth Fairy? I honked my horn. That's hilarious. I didn't even do that on purpose. Fuck, tree. Damn it. Call me George. No, dang. That last turn, that last transition's a tough one. Nice. Let's go. Speed. Yo, damn it. Maybe I could just jump over that last hill into the finish, actually. I feel like going around it's kind of a waste. 11 billion people? That's more than I knew about. I thought there was only like 8. Doesn't get paid at all. Bro, he's got a, he does the freaking Salvation Army, man. You don't ever see him out there with this bell and the freaking can. He's got like that bucket that people put money in. That's how he makes money throughout the year. He rings a bell. And he gets paid by God for giving his angels wings. 11 billion? They did a recount? That's funny. I demand a recount! That's fucking crazy, actually. Is that really? God damn. We're actually closer to being overpopulated than... Wow. Because freaking... like, saturation is like 28 billion people, I think. And they did, like, consensus thing, or like they had some scientific paper a few years back that said that, like, based on how many people we have, which was estimated to be like 8.6 billion at the time, and like the rate of freaking population increase around the world, that we would hit saturation by like 2350 or 2340 or somewhere around there. So like still it's, you know, like about 200 to 300 years away. 300 to 400 years actually. But that was if we were at 8.6 billion. If we're at 11 billion, that would mean two things. That would mean, one, that the initial calculations were wrong because it was based off of an incorrect number. And two, that our population growth estimates are way off, which means that saturation could be in like the next 100 years. It's Red Bull gives the angels wings. Okay. Yeah, I think they did a commercial on that actually. It is 8 billion. Okay. I was gonna say, like, holy fuck. Like, we're screwed. I mean, we're not screwed. It won't bother us, but humanity's screwed. From a wrong source. Okay. Well, you know, that's fine. Don't hate you, just hate whoever. It's not your fault. It's the fault of whoever lied. Whoever wrote that false report. Because that's insane. Yeah, 11 billion? I was like, holy crap. China must have freaking started going hard. Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, 8 billion's already still a lot. Okay, okay. Okay. Nope. Damn it. With over 100 million persons? China, Dubai, United States, Canada, Brazil. South Africa, United Arab Emirates, over 100 million. No, there might not be 100 million in the Arab Emirates. Probably closer to like 10 million. Was a YouTube short? Of course it was. Yeah, YouTube shorts are garbage. 90% of them are freaking AI now, dude. I avoid that shit like the plague. It's also part of the reason why I've quit posting shorts, because like the more AI content that comes out, the less views my shorts get. It's ridiculous. God dang, that last turn is tough. For multiple reasons. Damn it. I want to skip that. Actually, wait. If I just go like, no. I need the speed from the contact, yeah. If I just jumped that, I would get no speed out of it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, no, I like literally throughout the months, I've consistently watched my shorts get less and less views. Like it's like actually like a gradual line that I've been getting less and less views as more AI content hits the platform. It's actually depressing. YouTube is like basically an AI slot platform now entirely. That's why I'm trying to get people to move to other platforms. Both to watch me on other platforms and like all content on other platforms. Oh, Russia. Forgot Russia. Okay, India is not like... India's not just a country. Like, there's multiple countries within India. India is like a whole freaking... Indonesia, Brazil, Pakistan. Oh, okay. Dubai. Yeah. The thing about Dubai is it's like Washington, D.C. It's a city, but it's also like a sovereign state or whatever. And there's like a lot of people in Dubai. Like, maybe not 100 million, but there's at least 20 or 30 million people in Dubai. There's easily as many people in Dubai as there is New York. Ooh, almost, okay. I released a little bit. If I hadn't released, actually might have been a good jump. Dang. Yeah. Pakistan has over 100 million? Well, yeah, I guess. Damn. Pakistan's way bigger than I thought. I mean, yeah, no, I looked at Pakistan on a map recently. It is pretty big. It's like a third of the size of India. Oh, yeah, let's go. I totally actually didn't mean to take that angle, but that worked out so well. That was beautiful. Absolutely excellent. All right, well, we'll take that for now. We're not inside the top 50. I usually try to shoot for the top 50 before we move on, but we already spent a lot of time on that track. $255 million people. There's almost as many people in Pakistan as there is the entire United States. And Pakistan's like the size of Alaska. Congo, Bangladesh, Egypt. Egypt has 100 million people? Japan, okay. Mexico. Yeah. Like 120, like 200 something actually, I think. Philippines. My ex was Filipino. Her mom was a horrible person. Vietnam. Ethiopia. Bro, you're blowing my mind right now. Nigeria. What about the most populated city? I'm pretty sure the most populated city in the world is Hong Kong. 50 million? Really? Bro, what? That doesn't even seem possible. Well, I guess like 30% of their freaking land is uninhabitable tundra. So I guess it does kind of make sense. All right, so of course we're gonna start out with Action Key 3 on this. I always run Action Key 3 on snow car maps, but we're gonna have to change that. Towards the end, there is one turn that requires a much tighter turn radius. So we're gonna have to drop our, right there, that last turn, we have to drop our Action Key. Damn it. Go nice and tight down this. Dang. Most populated city is Tokyo? How? $30 million people in Tokyo. There's 30 million people in New York City. Or, well, the state. No, I think there is 30 million people in New York City. I just saw something about it not that long ago. Oh, ah, crap. I released, and it was a little too early. That's crazy. 30 million people in Tokyo, dude. 8 million people in New York City? So it must be the state has 30 million then. I knew it was one or the other. There's almost 1 million people that live around Niagara Falls, which is also kind of crazy. 37 million. God dang, bro. And their population is declining too. Can you believe that? I feel bad for Japan, like in a lot of ways. I feel bad for America stealing their freaking art and their scholars. I feel bad for freaking blowing them to shit in the 40s. I feel bad for the freaking corporate bullshit that's taking over their country right now. I feel bad for the freaking foreigners that are trying to take over their country. There's a lot of reasons Japan is in dire straits right now, actually. But they're starting to push back, which is good. California or UK? California. I already know that one. I live right next door, bro. Yeah, California has the freaking 3rd highest economy in the world or something, doesn't it? Oh, GDP, yeah, 4th highest in the world, okay. I thought you said population. Yeah. California has a GDP of like multiple countries. Freaking, I think they're saying like if you combine Japan, Germany, and the UK all together, it would equal out to what California's GDP is. Don't miss Cali at all, for sure. Canada? Well, no. It's the US. The US is bigger than Canada, but it's close. Pretty sure it's really close. Canada actually... No, it's Canada. Canada has more landmass, but they have less livable space. It's Canada, and it's mostly because of the freaking the Northern Territory, the Northern Territories, and freaking by 100 million square kilometers. That's crazy. Yeah, but it again, like, that's basically all Northern Territories, and the Northern Territories has like 5 people per capita, literally like 5 people per capita, which is like per 100 square miles or something. Which I guess if you figure it's bigger by 100 million square miles, the Northern Territory is probably about half of that. So that's, you know, probably a few million people. Still seems kind of hard to believe. Canada is probably one of the roughest places to live, like, in the world. Alright, well, we'll come back to that one. I'm not gonna try to freaking bang my head against that. Didn't spend a lot of time on it, but I've already done some runs on it, made an improvement there, and oh, what's going on? Okay, this is tripping me out. There's no checkpoints. This is the Pathfinder track. Okay, so we go there, up to there, across to there, what's the angle on that? It's not possible. Oh shit, actually. Oh man. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna do something crazy. Thanks, Valerie. Really appreciate having you around. Come back and hang out for the next one. I'm streaming tomorrow. Tuesday, Wednesday, Fridays. Have a good day. I will. Okay. Okay. So we go. Whoop. Ah. Is that even possible? If I go over here. Maybe. Go straight across there, if that's even possible. No. Okay, not like that anyway. Dang. So we're gonna go like this. Across here. Oh, almost. Australia is wider than the moon. What? That's crazy. Antarctica is the largest desert. I knew that. It's also the largest forest. But it's extinct. Russia spans 11 time zones? That's crazy. It almost covers literally half the world. Okay, let's see. If we go this way, we can jump up there. And then, oh man, we need a ton of speed for that. How are we gonna do that? So we go here, and then up. Oh, almost. If I hadn't hit that tree, I might have made it. Nope. Ah, dang. No! God. I need a ton of speed. Well, I say a ton of speed, but at least as much as I can get. Ah. Mount Everest is not the farthest point from the Earth's core. Interesting fact. Well, there could be two reasons for that. One, because it may be the highest elevation point on the planet. It's not the, like, doesn't have the thickest crust. And the core isn't perfectly centered either. Ah, shit. Farthest point from the Earth. Mount Everest is not the farthest point from the Earth's core. Is the only continent in all four hemispheres. That's crazy. I guess technically because the Greenwich date, or yeah, the international date line, the Greenwich date line, is technically where the eastern and western hemispheres meet. So yeah, like a small sliver of Africa would probably oh, the equatorial bulge. Yeah, the planet's wider around the middle. Right, that makes sense. It's so funny to me how you're always coming in here like teaching me scientific facts and shit like that. Getting learned by an 11-year-old every week. It's very humbling. Come on. Oh, if I hadn't hit the dang wall. Makes 20% of the Earth's oxygen? That's crazy. Nope. Oh, man, that was almost, like, perfect right there. I don't know if this is a good route, but it feels like a good route. If I can just land it once. Ah. Smart kid. You know, a lot of people might tell you that's useless information, but you'd be surprised how many times in your life you'd come across something where you'd need to know a piece of information like that, like what kind of climates exist where, or like elevations and things like that. Like, it may seem like pointless knowledge, but more than 40 buildings in New York have their own zip code. That's wild. A building has its own zip code. Oh, if I hadn't released. I know I can make that. I don't know if it's a good run, but I'm gonna make that. Ah, dang it. So close. That's interesting. I mean, technically the most eastern, because it's like close to the eastern hemisphere, or it crosses into the eastern hemisphere at a point. How is it the most eastern? Where do the where do the longitudinal lines cross? I don't see that. That's kind of crazy to me. From Stanford, Connecticut, all cardinal directions lead to New York City. I mean, you could kind of say that about like anywhere to anywhere, if you really think about it. If you travel long enough in a straight line, you'll end up somewhere else. Just saying. That doesn't make sense. How could you go south from Connecticut and end up in New York? Unless you like wrap around the planet. Or is it just saying like, no, that doesn't, I don't get that. Or is that like where the roads end up taking you? A portion of Nevada is farther west than Los Angeles. Okay, that I can see, yeah. I can see that. Because like if the lines of the longitudinal lines are like this, like the United States kind of comes off at an angle like this. So it would make sense. And Los Angeles is like all the way in the south. And Nevada totally overlaps it at a certain point. So yeah, no, I can totally see that. Neither California nor Florida have the longest U.S. coastline. Well, yeah, that's Alaska. Or Texas, but most likely Alaska. Alaska has almost as much coastline as the entire width of the whole entire United States. Like, if you go from the bottom to the top just following the coastline of Alaska, it would be a longer trip than driving across the U.S. Yeah, Mount Mazama. What is now Crater Lake, which is actually kind of in my backyard. Crater Lake used to be Mount Mazama, and Mount Mazama is the ancient volcano that freaking like blew up and almost caused the whole world to go into. It's actually like a freaking several thousand year cooling that was experienced when Mount Mazama blew up. And a mountain in Hawaii that's 33,000 feet tall. 33 kilometers tall. Well, yeah, so yeah, Mount Kea, they count that from the base of the ocean, because the mountain doesn't just end once it hits the water, you know, like what you see, like Hawaii is basically like perched on the tips of a bunch of freaking underwater mountains that peek out of the surface of the ocean. They literally just live on the rim of a bunch of volcanoes. So if you count it from the actual base to the top, then yes. And another interesting fact about Hawaii, it's actually part of a missing continent that Japan used to be the most western point of, and Hawaii was the most eastern point of. It was, I don't remember exactly what they called it, but yeah, anyway, it used to span from Japan in the west and then down almost to Australia in the south and then over to Hawaii in the east. And during the younger, driest period, it actually got flooded out. And they've done DNA tests on people like native Hawaiians and like native Japanese, like old native Japanese. And they have discovered that they actually have like a unique strand of DNA that only exists to them. And the only way that they could share that, no way, that was so close. Anyway, the only way that they could share that is if they lived in a connected culture at some point. And if you look at like radar images or like LiDAR images of the Pacific Ocean, you can totally see the continent that used to be there. The loudest thing ever recorded in the universe is 2 black holes colliding. Yeah, interesting thing about that though, since sound does not travel in space, it's nearly impossible to gauge the sound, and that's based off of a radio frequency. More people than all of Canada, Jesus. Ah! The loudest thing ever recorded. The Krakatoa explosion is known to be the loudest thing on Earth and plunged the Earth into volcanic winter for 2 years in the 1800s. Krakatoa, yeah. Who was it that I just watched a video on? Thoughty 2. You can walk from the US to Russia. Yeah, in multiple different directions too. You can go straight north and walk across the glaciers into Siberia. And during like 2 different times of year, there is a landmass that is revealed for a couple months between Alaska and Russia. A 200-foot river. How is it even called a river at that point? It's like a canal. Well, actually, I guess the difference is freaking natural or man-made, so I suppose. 200 feet. That's disappointing. That's a tiny little river. A piece of Africa is under the sea. Or is under the US. I don't understand that. What do you mean? Like a tectonic subduction zone or something? From millions of years ago? Or are you like, if you point at one side on the globe and then point all the way across, like the United States covers Africa? Because actually, fun fact, Oregon and Afghanistan is one of the few places on the planet where if you drew a straight line from straight across the center of the planet, where there's actually 2 land masses on either side. In almost every other instance, if you pick a spot on land and then go straight across, there's water. 4 largest US cities are all in Alaska. Interesting. Yeah, I guess. Freaking Fairbanks and Anchorage are pretty big. Bro, I am going to get this. Herp. Oh, that was almost it. Yeah, Hawaii. Kona. It's also one of the most expensive coffees in the world. Next to freaking, I can't remember what that French coffee is, and Capi Luwak. Capi Luwak, of course, is the most expensive. But it also comes from the poop of an eye. Like, why would you want to eat poop or drink poop juice, for one? And for two, why would you want to collect anything from that animal? That is the creepiest freaking animal on the planet, dude. A big old long ass middle finger. Like, what? Point Nemo. I have never heard of that. It didn't quite work out, but I at least made it. That's all I care. I made it up. I got a silver. 200. Okay, so that's obviously not the correct path. All right, well, let's try to take the actual route then, just once, I guess. See how much faster I can freaking finish this if I go the right way. Oh. Yo. That's like, wow. Okay, wait. So then if I go this way, and then across here. Oh, man. Okay. Only one U.S. capital has a McDonald's. Really? I mean, there's a McDonald's in Salem, isn't there? Yeah, there's a McDonald's in Salem. Is it Oregon? Is it Salem, Oregon? Also, Point Nemo, isn't that a observation zone in like freaking Florida or something? Dang. The state of Wisconsin only has 2 escalators. Huh. That's a interesting fact. Only 2 escalators in the state of Wisconsin. Point Nemo is the point in the ocean farthest from any land. Oh, okay. That makes Nemo make more sense now. Like the cartoon. Like the name that they... Or the... France's largest border is with Brazil. Yeah. France owns... I think Portugal, technically, and like one other freaking place in South America, I can't remember. The Trinidad or something? Which I always thought was in the Middle East, but it's apparently in South America. That shows how much I know. Ah! Need a nice smooth run. "49% of South America." That's crazy. And like 70% of it's freaking like modern population. Probably more than that, actually. Like 90% of it's modern population. Freaking Peru is basically still a third world country, even though it's considered a pretty modern part of South America. Whoa, too much speed. Crazy. Oof. Man, this is a tough one. Nice smooth landing there, but hit a lot of that grass, so therefore lost a ton of speed. I need to go further to the right there because I actually want to kind of ride the edge. Ah, dang. That's a tough one. You need a really nice transition there. And it's hard with the dirt on your tires. Ooh, nice. Oh, man, that turn was rough, but what a huge improvement, huh? Okay, I still feel like there might be a faster path here. If I can go, let's see, if I go across here, does that somehow get me there faster? I feel like it actually might because of the pavement section. Maybe. We're gonna have to do some interesting shenanigans here. Bounce across there, bounce across there. No. Okay. Let's do bounce. And then bounce. Maybe. Maybe. Actually, maybe. Let's go a little bit of a bounce. Keep the front tires up. A little bit of a bounce there. Nice straight transition. Oh my god, it is. It actually is. Okay. A little bit of a bounce there. Bounce there. Skip as much of that grass as possible. Tight turn. Damn it. Okay. That's crazy. It actually is faster. So we go bounce there. Bounce there. Skip the grass. We want to skip that grass. But we also want to keep 2 tires on the ground. Or at least 1 tire on the ground. And going between those trees, I think, is actually the best line. Yeah. We want to go between those trees. Skip across as much of that grass as possible. Almost. That was close. Front tire bounce. Ah, dang it. I need to go a little bit to the left because it pushes me to the right when I hit that. Yep, again, dang. We're gonna get this. We go boop, right across there. Oh, that was bad. Dang. We want less contact across that grass section. There we go. No, dang. I wonder if I land in a bug slide there, if that would do me any good. Damn. I have like too much speed there, actually. Boom. That was actually sweet, but still hit too much of that grass. Boop. Boop. Oh, kind of, but I need more speed. And it forces a nose down too, which actually is big for starting a good bug slide. No, dang, not enough speed still. I need to get a smoother transition onto that block. Okay, that might do it. Okay. Nice. Nice. No. Damn. It's really hard keeping grip on that turn. Fun, that's also a fact. The stadium that's going to be used for FIFA World Cup 2032 is going to be on a skyscraper. What? That's crazy. Gives a whole new meaning to airball. It's crazy. We'll be on a skyscraper. Bro, that's crazy. Where's that supposed to be? Like, Arabia or something? That's the only place I can think of them doing something that insane. No. Okay. Oh, that was perfect almost. Okay. We do want a little bit of contact though, because we still gain speed if we have one tire on the ground. If we have all 4 tires on the ground, that's a lot of friction. But I'm sorry, dude. I've been locked in. I was reading all your other messages like immediately up to that point. I found myself a solid path and I'm trying to freaking nail it. But where is that supposed to be? Also, no lag on the stream today, huh? How about that? I'm excited. I was really frustrated by all the lag I've been having over the last couple of weeks. I do not know. I still don't know what it was. I made a couple of adjustments today, but they weren't things that I would have thought would have freaking made that much of a difference. Don't know. Well, you should, so you can tell me, because I want to know. Type in skyscraper soccer pitch, or football pitch, I guess. Okay, I'm starting to lose it. Come on. I was doing so much better just a minute ago. See, I started paying attention to chat and now I suck again. There we go. No, bad, but that's okay. We can make up for it, I think. Oh, man. That was rough. What are we gonna do here? Yeah, if I can get the right freaking... If I can get a slightly tighter angle up. Yeah. That's gonna be tough. Okay. Damn it. I was right! Saudi Arabia, man, that's the only place they would do something so fucking crazy. I'm serious. I knew it. I knew it. Literally knew it. I said it. Yeah, Saudi Arabia, man. They're just insane. Like, they're literally crazy people. Everything, like, they only build things that don't make sense. Seriously. Oh, God. Oh, okay. You're gonna tell me the world record now. Because I'm freaking banging my head against this one and you're feeling bad for me? I appreciate it. Alright, what's the world record path then, huh? Am I, like, even kind of close about it? I appreciate you, suffering through me, freaking banging my head on this one. Ah. Going right and straight and jump up. I knew it! I knew it! That was literally my first thought. I was already trying that. Oh my God. I literally knew it. That was my first thought. You gotta go up the freaking, that hill. Okay, so yeah, you start out over here and then you go boop through this, right? And then you go up the freaking, hold on, wait. I was actually trying that a few minutes ago. You must not have been here to see it, but to the right. Yeah, okay. Because it actually, you can transition to that. Yeah. So you go over here, and then you go boop, up this hill, and you go right there, and then to the right, right? Right? Or is it not that one? Is it this one? Oh, maybe. Okay. Actually, I can see that. Just up the hill, and then if you transition just right, yeah, you got to hit that at just the right amount of speed and just the right angle. Finishes up the hill. Yeah. I know that. That was literally my first thought, but I tried it and I was coming from the wrong direction. I was trying to come from the left where that other like brick block is or whatever. Oh man, yeah, hit that rough. Here, I'll show you what I was trying to do before you got here. See, I was going this way, and then I was trying to go up this and freaking like take a quick turn either somehow up that or from there to here and then around that corner and up, but I made it one time and it was incredibly slow. No, I'm a club. I'm a club member. I have my own club and a campaign too, if you want to check it out. It's STDM Rally. And the club is TBL Rally. Oh man, that's gonna be tough. You gotta go straight, you like gotta shoot across that with full speed. No sliding. Yeah, you gotta not slide at all. Okay. Yeah, bump across that. Damn. Yeah, see, that's part of the thing though. I purposefully don't, because I really feel like they should just turn that off. Like, I don't think you should be able to do live runs on the weekly shorts. If the freaking records are hidden, like, even you just telling me is already, like, breaking the rules in my mind. The thing that really bothers me is because, like, you know, the records are hidden and, like, the idea is to use your skill and try to come up with, like, the best path and see how good you can do compared to the rest of the world. And with the other tracks, like, you could just pull up the record and follow their ghost or whatever. But if the records are supposed to be hidden, and then you see, like, last week on the Pathfinder track, should go next map. Yeah, okay. Because I look like I mean, yeah, I kind of was, not gonna lie. I was still enjoying myself. But, yeah, no, I was. You're right. No, it's just, it's a... It's a personal thing, I guess you could say. I don't know. I just feel like it's... I mean, if it's hidden, you know, it just feels wrong for people to be able to share their runs and stuff, you know. Okay, you said this is the track that you kind of like with Desert Cars, so we're gonna see how it goes, I guess. Okay. That was easy enough. Just about how you enjoy it. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, it's not that I don't appreciate it, and because I do. I mean, if I'm freaking, like, if I've been struggling for a long time, I am not gonna deny the advice for sure. But yeah, no, it's just like you said. Yeah, it's how I feel. I mean, it's just, I used to play a lot of freaking, like, trials and stuff back in the day, and I mean, it's about how, like, your own skill and your own freaking knowledge and stuff like that. And so if you, like, if you're just copying somebody else's run, and if all the records are hidden, you know, it just feels kind of cheaty, I guess. Don't understand how it was made by an Xbox player. Yeah, I'm questioning some of the signs. Because you can't place signs and freaking the transitions, you can't place sideways like that. Yeah, it does. It feels a little cheap. But at the same time, like, I made, again, like I made the comment earlier too, is like, you know, it's cheap to share the runs, but no matter how you look at it, like, that person still had to, actually pull it off. Like, even if they knew what the record path was, they still had to drive it. And it's never easy. Freaking bouncing off of trees and checkpoints and shit like that. Launching yourself halfway across the map to things you can't even see. Like, yeah. It's wild sometimes. Dang, I've been making huge improvements every run. Yeah, you can't place almost every block. Exactly. Some of these blocks, most of these blocks don't even, like, yeah, just literally at the start. That's all that's impossible. That is impossible by console. You can't place the transitions on its side. You can't mix blocks. You can't put that on this track there. Yo, thanks for the follow, man. Appreciate you. We do our Trackmania reviews every Tuesday, so if you're into that, come back and check it out. I appreciate the advice too, by the way. That is actually very helpful. Damn it. Ah. Okay. And straight there. Wiggle. Dang. I need to go at an angle across the sand. Damn it. Can skip the reset at the start. If I go close to the wall, it looks like there's a gap there. That's probably what you're saying, huh? If you were wanting to know the route, just like... Appreciate you. Yeah, okay, so you... Yeah, if you're close to the right side there, it looks like. I see. That is a tight gap, though. Just go super inside, yeah. Right. That's gonna be tough to... Also, stream's lagging? Shit! We were doing so good for so long. Damn it, bro. Why now? Like, see, I don't even know what's causing it. I jinxed it? Yeah, I guess. But that's the thing, like, I really don't know what's causing it, man. Like, it was running so smooth for so long, and now... I mean, we do have kind of a lot of clouds. That's the one thing about Starlink is, like, clouds and stuff really affect it. That might just be it. It might just be the fact that we have freaking, like, rough weather going on right now. Ah, well, shit. All right. I'm gonna try to freaking do a quick run on these. Yeah, it's lagging super hard. I see it, yeah. Actually, it straight just cut out. Yeah, it actually straight just cut out on Twitch and Rumble right there. Are we even still live on YouTube right now? Barely. Yeah. Alright, well that fucking sucks. What track are we on? Track 4? Alright, we've died. I greatly apologize. Thank you so much for the heads up on that. God dang it. He was doing so fine until just a few minutes ago. I really think it's just because we have, like, bad weather just came in. You're probably not going to get to see it very well, but I am going to do a quick run on Flappy Car. Just to freaking do the run. The funny thing about this track to me is honestly just the fact that Flappy Bird is like such a phenomenon, dude. Like, the fact that Flappy Bird became so insanely popular and it was like such a phenomenon to the point where people were freaking selling phones that just had Flappy Bird on them for like thousands of dollars, and people were buying them. It's crazy. It is crazy. Yeah, that's such bad lag. All right, guys. Well, I'm sorry. This is rough. Man, we were doing so good for so long. I don't know why my internet is being like this. We've had this issue for a couple of weeks now, and it just seems to be kind of a persistent thing. I don't know. It honestly feels like it's just because of the bad weather, because I'm running on Starlink. Starlink is very susceptible to the weather, but once I finish this run, once I hit the finish line here, I mean, we're probably going to call it. Once again, I really appreciate everybody. Thank you so much for the advice there on that gang. That gang. And then, yeah. Be sure to come back next Tuesday. We do Trackmania reviews every Tuesday. Come hit it up on Wednesdays. We do whatever. I've been doing like challenge run stuff. I got a full level 1 playthrough of Expedition 33 that I finished a couple of weeks back. That was our Wednesday content. So definitely check that out over on YouTube. Give me a follow over on Twitch. Got the author medal. We're going to have to try some more of that later. But for now, I'm going to call it there. Thank you, everyone, for coming. About to drop it. From what I've heard, track 4